Yo, what's up? All right, so today what we've got in store for us is we're going to go through a bit of an Icewind Dale 2 Enhanced Edition guide, just to encourage people to play the Enhanced Edition mod. All right, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to show you where to get the mod. All right, so Icewind Dale 2 follows the third edition rule set. So, but also it's hang on, let me just fix my camera. I don't know why it does that. If you still like that kind of Baldur's Gate 1-2 feel, that isometric top-down view in the Dungeons and Dragons kind of world, third edition and above, I'm not too sure, but I think most of the games in third edition and above start going from isometric top down to like a third person kind of view, right? So Icewind Dale 2, in my opinion, with that same kind of look and feel as Baldur's Gate, but with an enhanced rule set, makes it for a really enjoyable experience, which is why I rate it the most. Well, not the most, but really, really highly. But with the enhanced edition mod, it just makes it that much killer. Anyway, so to get the mod, you literally just type in Icewind Dale 2 Enhanced Edition, and it'll be the top thing here on your Beamdog forums. So you just click into that, literally the first search, it'll pop up, and it'll give you a rough overview of the mod, and what we need to do, actually, sorry, we will do, because I'm actually streaming as well, so we're just going to quickly change our information to Icewind Dale 2 Enhanced Edition guide. So we're just going to roughly talk about some of the things to watch out for when you're creating your character and shit like that, because if you're not familiar with third edition rules, all the skills and the feats can be a little bit like in your face, and you'll be like, fuck, you'll spend time and you recreate your character over and over again, and then you'll play like 3 hours and you're like, oh fuck, I fucked up my character, I gotta start again. But for you people that have already played it and haven't tried out this is the way to go. This mod, if you want to replay it, it's a fun game, and it just completely revitalizes the whole experience, right? So some of the big takeaways: 300 spells, over 800 items, new feats as well, and NPCs to join the party. Obviously, it's going to fix some bugs and errors. It's going to make Heart of Fury mode a little bit more playable. So there's even an option to play from a fresh start with I think you can start at like level 8 or something like that. But if you want a true challenge, and it's still an enjoyable and not a pain in the ass kind of play through like that. So what it does is, like what I'm going to do with my playthrough is I'm going to play the original mode and then play again in Heart of Fury mode. They're not as OP as what it used to be. So like one of the biggest differences or takeaways, and you can change it when you install the mod, is how many attacks they get. Obviously they get the extra attribute skill bonuses, attacks, hit points, and shit like that. But the hardest thing about it was their saves for spells and everything was dramatically increased, so you couldn't cast any spells on them basically. So it was just a bit tedious. All the battles were very, very tedious. So now it kind of reduces their saves, so then you can still affect them with your your debuff spells and whatnot. They're not going to automatically save every time. So again, it's just more enjoyable. Anyway, so on the forums, it's actually really, really good. It's really detailed. It really shows you all the all the enhancements, with even some pictures as well. So the encounters are going to be more challenging. The AI is going to be better. They're going to use more than new spells, their abilities. There's a couple of, this is an NPC, if you're an evil party as well. So a couple of other things to look out for is if you want an evil party, you're gonna need to have someone evil. Sorry, if you want to pick up the evil NPCs, you're gonna have to play or use an NPC that's in your party that's evil, to talk to them, to be able to get those dialogue options, to be able to get them into your team. Then not only that, but then succeed in the skill checks for whether it be diplomacy, intimidation, or bluff. These are like your 3 dialogue skill checks that you can use to get these guys into your team. Some of the items have already been enhanced, changed for better, some nerfed, some buffed, just to, just give you that fresh new experience. The spells are actually really, really cool. The added spells are hectic. They're crazy. They're kind of from all of Dungeons and Dragons, there's inspiration from everything. Like, so not only are you going to get all your normal Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 spells, but you're going to get stuff that you'll probably see in Baldur's Gate 3 spells as well, So it just gets everything. It's really, really fun. Of course, there's the new feats here as well. So one of the biggest issues, the improved initiative, I think. Feat was originally bugged, and we all knew not to get it, but now it's been fixed. Plus, all the other feats have been slightly changed, but for the better as well. So they're more, I guess, there's not many like useless feats anymore. They're actually, all of them are quite impactful. This is the components list for when you are installing the mod, so you can chop and change whatever you like. You can click yes to some, you can pick no to some. I generally just pick all of them. These are just some spoilers for some of the new feats, but we'll go through them when we go into the game. But yeah, huge, massive mod, and definitely highly recommend. So that's that. So you just click download, and then just like, if you've already in the modding game, make sure you put it into the folder and then start the installation, and then you'll get all these prompts of what you want to install for all the components that you want. Biggest takeaways. Item revisions are a big one. Obviously the spells. All the classes have been changed. Every single one of them. You can raise the cap to level 50, and now the classes will have ability score bonuses that go all the way up to level 50. That's the same as spell progression. So you can still have a character that goes to level 50, and they won't just stop gaining new stuff at like level 20 or whatever it is. It'll continue on, which is really cool. 3rd edition as well, obviously there's no THAC0, so to speak. It's more just whatever modifiers you have. You still got AC. AC is a little bit different from like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. You can get it from like 5 different ways to increase your AC, and that could be armor, shield, dodge, which is a feat. There's deflection, which would be, and protection. So there's 5 different ways to increase your AC. So protection, like a ring of protection, and then there's deflection as well, I'm pretty sure. Dodge, armor, shield, and something else. Something like that. But there's heaps, so you can get your AC up to like 40, 50. Pretty, really crazy. And instead of it like in Baldur's Gate 2 going down, it's up. So the higher the better. Yeah, let's get into the game, I reckon, and we'll just go through some of the classes, some of the buffs, and what makes it so different, but it still stays to the core roots of the game. All right, here we go. My bad. Okay, we're going to switch off the music so I can show you, chat your ears off. We're going to go through character creation. So, no new portraits, unfortunately, though. But I think the Icewind Dale 2 portraits are pretty rocker anyway. They're all pretty grouse. So all the ones from Icewind Dale 1, but some extras as well. Alright, so we'll go through some of the races. So I can't even remember what the old ones, like the buffs and stuff, or the advantages you get with the old races, but I'm pretty sure they have been changed. Humans, one of the biggest things in 3rd edition rules as well is that they try to give you a little bit more freedom when it comes to multi-classing. You can't really dual class anymore. And then there are ways of mitigating. Basically, you get like a multi-class penalty. So you can't, like in Baldur's Gate 3, you can't just get one of every class because you'll suffer from a multi-class XP penalty, which is like 20% or something, which is really huge. But the way you get, mitigate that is that you make sure that depending on what race you pick, you have a favored class of, you choose a class that's favored by your race. So human means that you can multi-class with anything. You can be a paladin, druid, doesn't matter what level they're going to be, right? But if you were, say, a tiefling with a favored class rogue, but then you chose fighter, mage, you will end up getting a multi-class penalty if you don't keep the levels pretty much in line with each other. So if you're a fighter level 1 and then a mage level 8, you'll suffer from the multi-class penalty. So the way to mitigate that is you keep the levels pretty much side by side, so you level up 1 class each, or you have a favored class, then it doesn't matter what levels you are. You can have a level 1 fighter and level 8 rogue, but you won't incur that the penalty. These are pretty much like for all the the attribute scores are pretty similar. This I think has changed a little bit, but I can't remember what it used to be, but you do get a experience penalty just because the races are pretty spot on. They're pretty awesome. So when you're picking your race, pay attention to the favored class, because you want to stick to that so then you can have that option to multi-class. And since the level cap is boosted to 50, you want to take advantage of it, I reckon anyway. Except for classes like, and I'll show you in a sec when we go into classes, but they'll still get benefits like level 40, even up to level 50. So that might be worthwhile to just single class it, but it depends on what you like and all that sort of stuff. So you can obviously create a full party of 6, or you can pick up all the new NPCs that you get. I think there's like 6, 7. There's like 2, 3 evil and like 3 good aligned NPCs you can pick up throughout the campaign, all spread out. You can get a majority of them at the start though, or you can reform your party. Like you can kick them out as well. So you can create a full party of 6, and then if you bear in mind, if you have a full party of 6, the dialogue to recruit the NPC won't pop up. So what I like to do is create a party of 5. So then I do get those dialogue options, and then I can kind of invite them in and then see if they're good, see who I can kick out, who's better, and then kind of like just decide that way. Look, the NPCs are alright. There's the evil NPCs that you get in the mod are really, really good. So in my playthrough, I'll be grabbing those for sure. Anyway, obviously, what I really like here is there's no in 3rd edition rule set, there's no melee weapon kind of. You're not barred to what class or race you are. So now you even get more bonuses, but depending on what race, such as like a drow, elf, or moon elf, or wild elf, or any kind of. I don't think half elf gets it. No, but they'll come with proficiency points in bows and long swords, which is cool. And this is a huge one as well. So weapon finesse with large swords, which we'll see in a sec. Weapon finesse basically just lets you use your dexterity modifier instead of your strength modifier for your attack rolls. which is really cool. So to hit. So that's good if you want to use a large sword with a low, strength but high dex. You'll still use your dex to hit with large sword, which is really cool. Drows are really, really OP, which is why they get a massive experience penalty, but they get all these, they get spell resistance, they get all these bonuses to their attributes. So when you do your character creation, you won't be capped at 18, you can go up to 20 for these ones. So let's do that, and then we got our classes here. So I'll quickly go through some of the classes that have been changed. Well, I mean, they've all been changed dramatically, but I'll show you just a couple examples, right? So again, I can't, it's been so long since I played the original Icewind Dale 2, but one of the big ones which make barbarians really, really awesome, right, is obviously their rage, but that continues to the scale up to like level 29, 30. They get damage resistance damage reduction, every 2 levels or every 3 levels. So they get 1 point every 3 levels. So obviously the higher level of barbarian you are, the more damage reduction you'll get. They also get better benefits for the toughness feat, which I'll show soon. They just get more bonuses just for being a barbarian. So more hit points. So it's pretty crazy. These guys are awesome. 1d12 as well, so they get massive hit points. They do not, I think the disadvantages are they don't get as many feats as the fighters do. Does it say? Fighters are even like more powerful now, which are pretty cool. But like some of the changes I'll show you, like so fighters now, for example, they've always got the extra feats. They've always had that. But now they get additional damage per 5 levels. So every 5 level, you're going to get +1 to damage. And then every 10th level, where is it? Here we go. Oh yeah, and a critical threat range every 10 levels. So every time, so once you hit level 10, your chances to get a critical hit will increase. And then 20, 30, will keep increasing. And then if you have a level 30 fighter, basically the multiplier +1 to that critical hit damage multiplier. So instead of doubling, it will triple. It'll keep going. That's pretty insane. So you're going to do massive damage if you hit a level 30 fighter. Obviously, they're a really good class to multi-class with, to get more feats, to get all the proficiency points in armor and all the weapons. But not only that, they're the only class that can get specialization. So now, instead of getting 3 pips and all the weapons, you can get 5. Fighters are still the only ones that are able to unlock from 3 stars and above. So more damage, more to hit bonuses, all that sort of stuff. So fighters are really fun to play with. Bards, 3rd edition rules completely buff the bards up, and a well-needed buff with all their extra songs that they get. The songs are really useful, and they're scalable as well. So they'll keep leveling up the higher level you are. So the bonuses will keep scaling higher and higher. Like so this one, for example, this is probably the reason why you want to get bard here. So on 20th level, they basically unlock a song that plays like 3, 4, 5 different songs all at the same time. So you get all the bonuses from all the songs, which is really, really crazy. And then again, it keeps leveling up to level 50. So having a single class bard only, not multi-classing a bard, is really worthwhile. And of course, their spell casting attribute is charisma. So you want a high charisma bard. The higher the charisma, the more spells you get, more bonuses to your spell saves, like your spell save DC, rah, rah, rah. So bards are awesome in this game. Highly recommend you take one. Clerics. So these are your different deities. This will give you I really like this idea. So you get your domain spells. So these are the domain spells that your deity kind of provides to you. So you'll have 2 separate spell trees. One is just your normal, cleric spells, and then your domain spells, which will change depending on which data you choose. So to help you figure out which one you want, have a look at these domain spells to unlock some really cool spells. They'll give you, access to, spells that, aren't even cleric spells. So like mage spells, like Acid Storm, Firestorms, kind of everything, I think, but that's more like a druid spell. Lightning Barrage, Earthquake. So it's going to give you access to all these cool spells that normally a normal cleric wouldn't get. Like this one, for example, I think this is like an evil alignment cleric, but they'll get Blur, Invisibility, Mass Haste, Black Blade of Disaster. Like, it's crazy. It's really cool. They also get advantages as well, so some bonus either skills or abilities or extra feats. So that will help you decide which the spells, and then their advantages here. So they might get an ability or whatever. That'll help you decide what you want to pick. But yeah, there's that. They're all quite useful. These are alignment based as well. So obviously I think the Demarch is limited to neutral or evil. And that is something you've also got to take into consideration if you choose to multi-class. Just say you do fighter first and you're lawful good, but you want to dual class into a Demarch of Mask, you won't have access to it if you're in lawful good. You'll get access to the other cleric kits, but you won't get that. So make sure that you have a look at what you want to multi-class into. So you click into it like what I've done, and then you just check what alignments are available to you. And then you go, okay, all right, so these are what I need to do. So I can go lawful evil. So I'll go back, I'll do one level of fighter first, so I get, all the weapons and all that sort of stuff. Make sure I'm lawful evil, and then my next level up, I'll go cleric, and then click that kit. Okay. Now, monks have been buffed a lot in this edition, an enhanced edition. I think these are always kind of the same, this being pretty crazy. This, you get heals and damage resistance, and then sneak attacks, Dark Moon, I think, which obviously would be evil alignments. I think you can multi-class into a monk if you start off, say a fighter, for example. Before you were restricted to that, you couldn't multi-class into like a cleric, a paladin or a monk. I think you had to start with that class, and then anyway, I don't think there's any restrictions like that anymore. I think it just purely depends on your alignment. But hang on, let's just go back to the monks. So the monks, the reason why the monks have been buffed so much is that basically they have no cap to how many attacks they get per round. So it scales, but you can, if you're a pure level 50 monk, your attacks per round will just keep increasing, which is why they're insane. So every 3 levels, you'll get an additional attack, right? You can wield quarterstaves, daggers, throwing daggers, blah, blah. You can still use these weapons, but you only have 1 fewer attack. But if you're like, level 30, 40, 50 monk, having 1 fewer attack is not a big deal. So if you really want to use a quarterstaff or, dual wield daggers or something, you can, because by the time you get to a really high level, you're going to have so many attacks anyway, it doesn't really matter that you have 1 less attack, right? But you're always going to start with extra attacks if you use your fist. Still get an extra attack per round every 3 levels, see what I mean? So that's pretty sweet. Their damage increases as well, and then they basically turn into level 5 weapons at level 17. So you can hit everything at level 17, which is huge. Everything else is pretty much the same, but yeah, crazy. Monks are awesome. Multi-classing a monk, if you can find out something that synergizes really well with a monk. Having a monk, just with because they get all these cool things, every time they level up, it's a really good way to dip a few levels in. If you're not interested in like wearing heavy armor or something like that, this would be a way to go. I'm currently trying a cleric monk in my playthrough that I'll begin and post on YouTube. So I'm pretty interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, the synergy is the high wisdom bonus to get the AC. Sorry, but yeah. So what you really want to look for, or keep in mind when you are creating your character, especially if you're going to create a full party of 6, and what you want to multi-class into, right, is you need to obviously choose classes that synergize really well with each other, right? So a wizard requires intelligence to get high level spells. You need to have an intelligence of 19 to be able to cast level 9 spells. So every 4th level you'll get an attribute score bonus, which you can add into whatever. Obviously you're going to keep increasing your spell casting attribute. So what goes really well with wizard, well, I think that, with a high intelligence score, it goes really well with rogues, because rogues need high intelligence just to get more skills. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I pick rogue, let's just go just say I do, that's a really good roll. 10 intelligence, right? So that gives me 16 skill points. So what we've got here is we've got 1, which is like your class skill, and then 2, which is not your class skill. So that's going to cost 2 skill points to level up, and you won't be able to get as high as you normally would. So I can only cap out at 2. But here's my class skill here. I only take 1 skill point, and I can get it to 4. So these are the ones you want. But look at rogue skills that they get. They get 1, 2, 3. So they get all the talking skills. So bluff, diplomacy, intimidation. So you're going to be really, really adverse at conversations, right? Which is also will benefit from charisma. So that'll add to these modifiers. Add a positive modifier to these skills. But then they've got all their thief skills as well. So you got alchemy, disable device, open, lock, move silently, hide, pickpocket, search, magic device. They've got heaps, and they're all pretty good. Pickpockets, I don't know what it used to be like in the old game, but now it's like a quintessential skill to have. You can almost pickpocket from everyone, and they've all pretty much got good shit. You can get some really cool stuff from pickpocketing anyone with a name. So I always like to have that at the start, at the get-go. You need to have a couple of people with some kind of conversational skill. Some will require bluff, some will require diplomacy. They're just going to open up those dialogue options. So I like to have my main person right at the front who's going to start all the conversations, to have at least 2 conversation skill points here. So I'm a rogue. I'm starting off as a rogue, and I've got bluff and diplomacy. My intelligence is really high, just so I can take advantage of getting all the skills. 16 is definitely not enough. That can only completely buff out 4. You know what I mean? And then I'm pretty sure, it's just, you need a higher intelligence for rogue. So rogue mages go really, really well together. Another thing you can do, Azamar, paladin, right? Paladins get wisdom and charisma as well. So paladins will require wisdom for their spellcasting, but also charisma for some modifiers to all the buffs that they get with their spells. So that's really good. What else needs wisdom? What else needs charisma? Well, charisma is really good for sorcerers or bards as well. Funny enough, you go to paladin, and you got these kits here, and this is a really, really sweet kit to use if you want to turn into a sorcerer as well, which is a really, really fun class to play. Basically, by level 6, you'll get this feat called Armored Arcana, which basically allows you to cast all spells with armor on. So you can be a full plate wearing paladin sorcerer, slinging fireballs with a shield, full plate mail, helmet, whatever. And then at level 11, the damage that they do get bonuses as well, which is it's awesome. That's a really, really fun class to play. I have played it once, and it's super, super fun. having full plate, rocking mirror images, throwing fireballs is awesome. Plus you get your paladin spells, plus you get your smites, plus you get your fireballs from your sorcerer spells. It's really good. Fun class to play. Obviously they are, you know, only lawful neutral, lawful good. I think, whoops. I think it's this one that lets you go neutral, or kind of. And this one's obviously only lawful good as well. Yeah. Right, that's that. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to show ya. What's up, man?
You want to gym?
I'm a bit busy at the moment, but yeah, yeah.
What time you want to go?
I'll be a while, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at the ranger. So the rangers have been buffed as well. They'll get access to feats that no other classes can get. 3rd edition did a really, it's like, well, actually in 2nd edition, I think they introduced it in Baldur's Gate 2, not the original games, but the enhanced editions, that they'll start with 2-weapon fighting. So now they really hone in on that, and they'll get extra benefits that are open to no other class but the ranger. So they'll get increased weapon fighting feats, 2-weapon fighting feats, and like just to improve their to hit and all that sort of stuff. So if you're really into 2-weapon fighting style, that is the way to go. Rangers for sure. I'm yet to try like a rogue ranger or multi-classing a ranger with anything. But the way I'd probably do it with a ranger, if you really want to utilize the 2-weapon fighting, is I'd get to ranger to level 15. That would give you access to all the, you know, ranger benefits, and then after level 15 specialize in something else. So rangers will still benefit from a high wisdom score. So that could go really well with either a cleric, druid, maybe even a monk. Dexterity as well, if you want to use like short swords and you know, get the weapon finesse feat, get a really high dexterity. These guys really benefit from a high dexterity bonus, and obviously they're the wisdom for their spells. That's the classes anyway. So we'll take a look at some of the feats now. And there's a couple of new feats that you need to look out for, which are really helpful, especially... oh man, I stuffed up my little thing. When you're setting up your character, there's a couple of feats that you can only get at level 1, and that'll depend on what class, what alignment, and even what skills you have. So, and I'll show you why. And this is what I'm currently running at the moment. So evil. Oh wait, Azamar's pretty stupid. Let's go drow. Rogue. Evil. So rogue, evil. Right, let's just do a couple of rolls. This can be changed depending on what you choose, what component you choose. You can either choose to roll like in Baldur's Gate, or you can go to more 3rd edition rules where it's more just like everything starts at 10 and then you've got like 16 points or something like that to allocate. I just chose roll. I don't know, there's just something about that rolling, you know, that's what I love about character creation in the first place, is like keep rolling till you get that really high score. Like a 90 is always good, right? Anyway, let's just leave it there. So, if I get this, hide, move silently, alchemy, and then I don't know, magic device. These are the feats, okay? So because I am, check this out, prerequisite. So I'd even like get up to this point in character creation and just have a read of all the different feats, just so, I mean, you can check in the readmes and all that sort of stuff, but again, to give you an idea of what classes you want, what kind of characters you want to build, you want to, make sure that you hit these prerequisites. Some of these are level 1 only, so you need to kind of know these things before you start creating your class. So an assassin, for example, level of rogue. All right, you can only get this at level 1. You may only take this feat as a level 1 character, right? So 1 level of rogue, you need alchemy, hide, and move silently. So all 3 of those skills at 4 or higher, right? And then the evil alignment. So you can only do this if you got like the skills that I got and evil, right? So a crazy thing to have as well, especially for a rogue. Sneak attacks become death attacks. All right, so this is what you need to look out for. So this is what they're going to save. So DC of 10. So roll 10, right? So half your rogue level and plus your dexterity modifier, right? So the higher level of rogue you are, the better it's going to be. The higher your dexterity, the better it's going to be. So it's going to minimize the chances of them saving your poison. And it's huge. However, you only gain 2 plus intelligent modifier skill points per rogue level after the first. So you're going to get less skill points because you're an assassin, right? Which I think even in Baldur's Gate 2, they get less skill points per level. Which is why, again, having high intelligence is so important for a rogue. That's just one example. There's another one for fighter. Kinsei. So you can be a Kinsei. Again, must take this at level 1. I don't think there's any prerequisites. You can just be a fighter, but you'll get benefits without wearing an armor or shield. So that is singing for a fighter, mage, or whatever, you know what I mean? Really fun to play if you're not wearing any armor. I think robes are acceptable, so you can still use a robe. And anyone can wear robes now, which is awesome. You got a fighter, you want to wear a robe, fucking put it on. You got a paladin, sorcerer, wear a robe, dude, go for it. Really good. Like I said, the weapon proficiencies go up to 5 stars now, but they're only accessible. 3 and above is only accessible from fighters alone. So if you want to be, really good with weapons, fighters are the way to go. So I think at level 4, you'll unlock the 3rd. At level 8, the 4th, and at level 12, the 5th. Only fighters get the Bastard Sword, which is regarded as an exotic weapon. So they'll start with that proficiency point. Otherwise, no other classes will get it because it's an exotic weapon. So if you want to use weapons like that, Bastard Swords, I think there's even katanas implemented in as well, which count as an exotic weapon. That'll be that there. Now, what else can we show you? Yeah, this is another thing you want to really look out for. This is what I want to do in my playthrough. It's a huge... This takes a lot of time to complete, right? This was actually not in the original Enhanced Edition mod, but it came out through an update. So look at the prerequisites. To start taking ranks in this feat, you need 2 ranks in spell-focused necromancy. So that's these here. These are going to increase your chances of your spells being saved against. So difficulty to save against them. So it's going to add a penalty to the saves. So anytime you cast horror, now with 1, it'll add 2 to the difficulty class. So the DC for all saving throws. Right, so just say there's a DC 10, right? Now it's going to be a DC 12, right? So you got to roll a 12 or above instead of a 10 Now that you got that, and then that will increase again. So then it'll be a +4 bonus. So then it'll turn into a DC 14. Where was I? Here. Yeah. So you need 2 ranks in Spell, Focus, Necromancy. You need 12 levels of Wizard or Sorcerer, or 10 levels of Necromancer, which is a Wizard kit. Right. To take the final rank, there's 5 total. You need to be 20 levels of Wizard or Sorcerer, or 18 levels of Necromancer. So you need to get 5. This is a 5-star feat to actually unlock all the benefits from it. So even after you meet the initial requirements, you must take this feat 5 times for you to get any of the benefits. And then, like, obviously wizards take fucking forever, right, to level up and get feats. Sorry, not level up, but to get feats. Having a drow wizard, probably not a good idea because they get the experience penalty. So they're going to take even longer to level up. So not a good idea to go drow wizard and aim for this feat here. Because you still, in order to get the final star, you need to have, you need to be at least level 18 Necromancer or 20 Wizard or Sorcerer. Anyway, check this shit out, man. This is crazy. This is where I'm going to head for in my campaign. So obviously once I do this video, post it up, put it on YouTube, I'm going to start the playthrough playlist. But you get, basically you turn to a Lich, right? So you get 5 armor, 2 intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Immunity to cold, electricity, poison, disease, bleeding, fatigue, sleep, fear, hopelessness, charm, confusion, feeble mind, paralysis, stun, energy drain, instant death, petrification, harmful pullification, polymorph, critical hits, sneak attacks, 5 resistance to slashing, piercing damage, 8 to bonus to hide, move silently, and surge. You can be, like, it's just fucked, man. But basically, you do turn undead. So if you're running, like an a good aligned party, and then you've got this badass, and then your cleric turns evil, turn undead, or whatever it's called. What's it called? Is it turn undead? Is that what the thing is? Yeah, you'll get affected anyway. Just like undead, you can't be healed by healing spells. They'll actually hurt you, but you can be healed by inflict wound spells. Now, really, really cool thing, which I forgot to mention as well. Anyway, you got the idea. This is fucking awesome. And you never die. Well, you die, but then you get revived after 8 hours because you have a phylactery. Another thing that I forgot to mention, right, with spells, with clerics now, and this is only for clerics, not druids. There's other classes that give you healing spells, like paladin, rangers, druids, they'll get some, healing spells. But with clerics, and this is completely dependent on what alignment you are. If you are a good aligned cleric, you'll get access to some good aligned only spells. But not only that, you do not have to memorize any of your healing spells, because you can change any of your spells. This is why it's really, really cool, into a healing spell. All you got to do is you got to click the shift button when you're selecting a spell, click whatever spell you got. So just say you've got a level 3 prayer. Right, if I hold shift and click on prayer, it'll turn into that equivalent healing spell at that level. So I think that's like level 3. So it'll be a cure moderate wounds, and then you can use that to heal someone. And it's scalable as well. Well, it goes up. So level 4 will be like cure critical. 5 will be raise dead. 6 will be like resurrect or something, or whatever, insta heal, or whatever the fuck. It will change depending on what level you're on. So that is really cool. It just means that you don't have to memorize healing spells. You can use damaging spells, debuff spells, buff spells, and then when you do need to use a healing spell, you just like, oh, okay, I don't really need this spell right now. I don't need cure paralysis. I'll shift and I'll use that as a heal instead. Awesome. Really, really cool. So that works as well with the evil clerics. So instead of healing spells, it'll turn into inflict, cure light wounds or whatever, or harm, or all that sort of stuff. So same for evil. I think obviously it's more useful to for good alignment clerics, because you always need healing spells, but then it's situational. If you don't, you can memorize debuff spells and buffing spells as well, which is why having a good aligned cleric is really, really beneficial. Insane in the membrane. I didn't really breathe at all that whole explanation. I think we've covered basically everything. Enough for you guys to be able to get a grasp, an idea of what you want to do. Have a look into the feats. Do your research before you just start getting into it. And I would plan for playing twice. And that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish the game, and then I'm going to play the game again in Heart of Fury mode with my characters, the same characters, and see how it go. I'm pretty excited for that. So I've just got one guy at the moment, but I will recruit my NPCs. I got a thief. I got a rogue here. Yeah. So I've got the weapon finesse feat and the assassin. I will. I'm not too sure if I want to turn him into a mage or a bard. I think I want to go bard, just to utilize the crazy buffs. But I'll show you how the multi-classing works. Oops, that's gold. What I want is... Whoa, what did I just do? Let's turn the music. That's really loud. Alright, so when you level up, you click level up. So you can't multi-class into a paladin. I think that's also because I am evil as fuck. But yeah, so I can multi-class into whatever I want, or I can just go rogue again. So let's go bard. Okay. The good thing about bard as well is that they'll already come with an armored arcana feat from level 1, and basically it's it's accumulation of percentage points. So the heavier the armor, the higher arcane spell failure you'll have. So I think a light armor, so like a leather armor, will be 15. Medium armor might be like 25, and then a full plate mail might be like 45%. Right. So one level in armored arcana, you can get 3. I think it's like it goes 30, 35, and then 30 or something. So having one feat already, I'll be able to cast spells wearing armor, which is awesome straight off the bat. Again, bards, so many skills, just as like rogues, which is why intelligence is so important. Also, I forgot to tell you, you want to have this. If any spell casters, mages, clerics, sorcerers, anyone that casts spells, you want to have this at level 10. Why? Because I will show you. Let's just go like level 5 bard. Let's get some charisma. You need to have a... What? Really? Hang on. Let's go 6 bard. Okay, so spellcraft at level 10. You can save skill points, but there is a minimum. Now, I'm not going to be getting alchemy anymore because I just got that for the assassin, so I can get access to the assassin feat. But I'm going to primarily focus on pickpocket and then the speech, bluff, diplomacy, and then I'll be using my rogue skills as well. So the idea, see how now that I've leveled up bard, open lock, and search, which are like thief skills, now take 2 points. So what you really want to do is, this is why it's better to, instead of just go 5, 6, 7, 8 levels of bard, go one of rogue, one of bard, and another rogue, another bard, right? So then you can save your points if you can, but only allocate your skill points to the thief skills when you're leveling up the rogue, right? And then when you're leveling up the bard, I'll get more of concentration, spellcraft, and then I'll save these for when I level up my thief. So yeah, I'll probably want some magic device. See how I've had the next button it's clickable, and I've still got 5 points in the tree, which is good. So if I want to save some extra skill points for when I turn into a rogue, I can. This is the armored arcana here, so 35%. So each one will give you another 35 for a total of 105%. So you'll be able to wear a shield, a tower shield, full plate. I don't think you get any for wearing a helmet, but that's that there. But anyway, the reason why we got 10... Oh, my bad. You do need spellcraft for 10, but you also need to be able to cast 4 level spells. So obviously, bards, their spell progression is a little bit slower. Level 6 is probably only going to get you like level 2 spells. But these are awesome. So these are like your elemental resistances plus increase in damage. So there's one for every element. So this is cold. You'll get 5 resistance to cold, but you'll get an increase of 20% to all cold damage done. So all your snowball, or you probably, if you know the spells, there's like even new spells now up to level 8 and 9. Basically, now there's like a damaging spell for every element for like basically every level. So there's going to be a level 6, there's going to be a level 7, 8, 9. Don't quote me on that, but there's definitely a level 9 elemental spell for every element. So fire, electric. So you can kind of specialize in, if you want to, you can be a cold mage by only getting the cold spells. You just get this Ages of Rhyme, so then all your cold spells will do more damage. There's shit like that. And you'll encounter people like that too. Like obviously the Ice Temple, they're all like cold specific, and so they do have higher resistance to cold. Not full resistance, but they are resistant to cold damage. Their cold damage absolutely wrecks. They're all going to cast like Ice Storm level 4 and shit like that. So you can play how you want, progress how you want, and have any kind of style or element you want. So that's there for every element, but then there's also one for just pure magic as well, which is Master of Magic Force. Now that's going to help with your spells like Magic Missile, Chromatic Orb, Abyssy, Herald Wilting, like that's magic. That's crazy. So this really works well with Necromancy. So if you want to have a Lich, this will be something to get. If you want to be a Lich, for sure. 20% increase to all magic damage done. So your magic missiles are going to get a crazy buff. So is your Chromatic Orb. So is your Horrid Wiltings. Like, it's going to be crazy. Druids are also pretty sweet now too. I forgot to show you, but their shape-shifting is like unreal. But not only that, they'll get their own innate abilities as they level up, and they'll continue to keep unlocking like really, really cool shape-shifting animals. I think they even unlock a dragon at like level 40. So you can shapeshift into a dragon if you reach a pure level druid level 40. So there's that. Anyway, so what was I going to show you? I can't even remember. I showed you the spell casting feats. Improved initiative is now fixed, but not only that, it's even better. So not only is your first attack the initiative speed factor, but like it's initiative reduced by 4, but casting time of all your spells is reduced by 1. So that's really cool. There you go. These are the Bard spells. Again, the Bard spells have their own spell tree now, and they level up like sorcerers do. So you can't learn scrolls like in Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, but now they have their own spell tree, and they'll have spells that are only accessible or castable by bards. So, biggest ones that to take note of all the emotion, courage, emotion, hope, emotion, despair, emotion, fear, all only cast by bards now, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So they do get healing spells as well. There's that. Anyway, so that's it. That's a general rundown of Icewind Dale 2 Enhanced Edition. If you want more information on it, obviously you can go see the README. There is information out there as well on the different NPCs you can get. Again, just to further look into, what kind of build, if obviously you want to create a balanced party. So have a look at all the NPCs. I don't think there's information on what stats there are, but I do know that all the evil ones are pretty like rock solid. You get a thief and a fighter here. You get the mage. There's the ghost that you save in the next town. You can recruit her, which is pretty funny. You'll get either a cleric or a troll, depending on what alignment you are and what you choose. Emma Moonblade. So you even get to recruit her and use her Moonblade, which is pretty cool. Or you can kill her, and then you can recruit the troll who steals her sword. Shit like that. And there's more. There's a few more. Yeah, that's basically it. We will cut it there, and then what we'll do is later on tonight we're actually going to go through now our playthrough of Icewind Dale 2. Let's put the music back on because I absolutely love the music in this game. Really good tunes. Love it so much. Not so much character creation, but especially in the Targos area, really, really good. Probably one of the reasons why I love Icewind Dale 2 too much is that the soundtracks are pretty awesome. Anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of this. Get the mod, have a playthrough. Again, in terms of like 3rd edition rule set, if you prefer this style like I do, like Baldur's Gate 2, that isometric top-down view, not so much the third person, this is the way to go to kind of still maintain that feel, and then take advantage of the 3rd edition rule set, the skills, the feats that just makes the game a little bit more enjoyable to play. Obviously, I'm a big fan. I've even tried to convert my Baldur's Gate 2 game into 3rd edition rule set with the Talents of Faerun mod, which I also recommend. Still a little bit buggy at the moment, though. Disclaimers out there, but it's for me, it's functioning well enough to still enjoy it a lot and get a pretty good and robust experience. Anyway, my guys, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll post this up on YouTube. Have a look at my YouTube channel. My link is, I don't know, somewhere on my page, man. But yeah, enjoy. Peace out. Love. Bye. See ya. Yeah.